good morning. Fingers are so cold, can barely feel them. Oh, there's a magpie. I've stopped saying my old, I'm not even going to say it out loud, um, little ditty that I used to say by seeing a lone magpie. But it's really hard to restrain myself, but I shall not get back into that. Ice on the windscreen this morning. And it's the kind of thing that once it's in your fingers, that's it, you're done. I realise it's an age thing, but it goes to every bone in your body. It starts in your fingers and it just travels through. The tip of my nose yesterday, swear, oh, there's another one, thank goodness for that. I swear, I was like touching it, but I didn't know if I was touching it because this was so cold and that was so cold. Anyway, we digress. It's Friday. It's nearly the weekend. Not that that makes any difference because it's almost arguably harder at the weekend than it is in the week. But it feels good to have got to Friday intact and in one piece. So well done us. Yay. Slightly less good. Oh, spilling it everywhere. When we see the plethora of the bombardment that we're getting from the government this morning about children in poverty. And it's become something where if you comment on it, you are morally corrupt. If you comment on not agreeing with Labour's policies, which they've cleverly put it under the headline of "we're lifting children out of poverty." So to oppose the way that they're doing it is eagerly jumped on by the Labour supporters who want to paint you as some nasty, miserable, miserly Grinch type creature. It makes us very Dickensian. How dare you oppose lifting children out of poverty? And then they don't listen to the bit where you say, I don't. I oppose how they're doing it, but I don't oppose it. That bit never gets airtime, does it? That bit's always like, that nasty person said. And it's like, no, really, I didn't. I don't think children should be in poverty to need to be lifted out of poverty. And I can agree with many of the comments people make about successive governments. I mean, all over the world, children are in poverty. And it's horrendous. It's a fact of life, but it's absolutely horrendous. And to want to stop that is humanity. So why would we not want to stop that? But then when it gets sticky is when you oppose what Labour are doing under their guise of they think they're getting children out of poverty and lifting children out of poverty. This is the phase, isn't it? We're lifting children out of poverty. And by doing that, by the very phrase, we are lifting, we have the power to do that. We have it's almost like we're walking over water. We're lifting people out of poverty. Aren't we amazing? No, really you're not. And the reason that I oppose it and the reason that I really haven't found a party as yet that I do think would get a full grapple on this, but when Keir Starmer refers to his favourite catchphrase, 4.5 million in the children in God, I can't say anything today. 4.5 million children in the UK grow up in poverty. 75% of those, or three quarters, are from working families. How can they achieve their potential when they're skipping meals or going to sleep in a cold bedroom? I will not stand by and watch that happen. We're acting now to lift those children out of poverty. Now, the sentiment is right. How can children reach their full potential when they're skipping meals or sleeping in a cold bedroom? But here's the thing that Keir has not addressed. He talks about three quarters of them in working families, the very families that he is punishing economically and financially right now. So we sleep in cold bedrooms. We don't have the heating on. I know people, and I have read comments on here, who are earning what you would think would be a good salary, and they too are skipping meals so that their kids can eat. They're making those choices. And they've been doing that since Labour came into power. Now, let's not all look back with a rosy glow and go, oh, but it was amazing when it was the Tories. It was so good. No, it wasn't. Come on. We've all got to have the honesty glasses on. It really wasn't. And there were so many things that the last government fundamentally cocked up. And to not acknowledge that gives no weight to any comment on this government. We cannot do that. That's not how it works. But what we need to be doing at the minute is focusing on what's happened since the Labour government got into power. And their constant rhetoric of working people. We're here, we're the party for the working people. We are supporting the working people. Everybody, and this is where I hate politics. They've openly put their cap down at one group of people in society and thus ignored everybody else. You don't count. We're not here for you. We're not serving you. We're not your party. We're not bothered about you. We're just about this little group here, the working people, which of course isn't a little group, is it? It's all of us. And it's pensioners that were retired now going back into work. And it's staggering that we have this narrative coming from them. 3/4 of children that they're going to lift out of poverty are in working families. Yet what are we doing to working families? Well, for a start, working families are not working so much anymore, are they? Because unemployment rates are going up repeatedly ever thus by day. That none of that made sense, did it? Employment rates are rising as every day goes by. There you go. That's the bit we wanted. Cost of living is impossible. It's just impossible. And this, we're going to save you £150 off your energy. And A, it was supposed to be £300. But B, I'm not being ungrateful when I say, what's the point? For a start, none of us can afford to heat our houses anyway. And secondly, when we are trying to fill the food gap, we're not going to get £150 in our pocket. It's not going to sit there in a bank winking at us going, I'm here for a rainy day. I'm your 150 quid from the government. Woo, look at me. And all the money that they say, oh, we're saving working families money with these breakfast clubs. Well, you're funding them by taxing working families. So you're choosing where you're going to spend their money. You're not saving them any money. You're costing them more money. You're costing them more money in tax, in national insurance, in rent, in electricity, in gas, in food, in insurance, in breathing, in driving. Every area of their life has gone up in cost. And yet you turn around and say, oh, but we're saving you £450 a year on breakfasts. You're not. You're just not. And it's these cheap headlines that we keep getting. And I think this is a bit that I object to the most. Every day, the Labour Party will trot something out in a cheap headline that they want you to believe is them doing a good thing. And we read the small print. We know the small print. We see the small print. And it's so far apart. The thinking is so disjointed from the headline that it makes you sort of question your own sanity a bit. So whilst questioning my own sanity, I thought I'd read you, because this is one of the things we like doing the most. Oh, it's not working today, is it, the old brain? So after Keir Starmer's post, there have been lots of responses. Now, I can't read all of them because, as ever, some of them are a bit close to the bone, but none of them are great. So a lot of people are talking about families with 6 or more children, and this one, welfare families with 6 kids are building a new bar in their garage. Taxpayers can't afford 2 bars on their gas fire. I can't say the rest thing. I can't say that one either. Higher unemployment means greater child poverty. Number of people out of work is due to slump to pandemic levels following the Chancellor's tax hikes. I can't read that one. I can't read that one. I can't read that one. If your compassion is really the priority, Prime Minister, then why did you punish your own MPs last year for trying to lift the 2-child benefit cap? And that's really interesting, actually. The amount of people that lost the whip from Keir Starmer last year, that he's now doing the very policy that he took the whip away from them. How are we supposed to respect that? How are we supposed to look at that as a leader and go, okay, I've got faith in you that you know what you're doing? You punish your own party and then you do a complete U-turn. And what have you done to those people who you removed the whip from? Have you apologised? I mean, he stands up all the time saying Kemi Badenoch needs to apologise. That's all he says. He doesn't answer questions and he goes, you should apologise. And so that's going to make it better. Really? And I say to my children, I don't want to hear the word sorry. You could just be saying cabbages to me. I want to see the word sorry. I want to see how you apologise. And on this instance, and you all know that I have been impressed with Kemi Badenoch in Prime Minister's Questions recently. I have. She's turned it around for me. And I I feel like she's showing what sorry is. There's a long way to go, but she is showing what it looks like to be sorry for your actions. And Keir Starmer is not. Which brings me on to the Nigel Farage thing, which that'll have to be a whole new video because you'll all have fallen asleep with that. But he's made some very, very interesting comments. He's obviously been accused of being racist, and by the BBC, he's made some very interesting comments comparing the BBC's past relationship with racism and Nigel Farage's past relationship with racism and where we are today. And it's an interesting topic for debate. It definitely highlights the double standards that we seem to live under this day and age and accept. We seem to sort of like go, well, that was today, but it'll be forgotten by tomorrow. You know, yesterday's news is today's chip paper. But then there's no accountability by anyone for anything. If we can just brush this stuff over and go, oh, well, that was yesterday, you know, today we're thinking about. And this is another reason why they just keep churning out these headlines, because you can't fixate on one. They're trying to make everything so busy. They're trying to make your mind so busy. They're trying to make the saturating the thought process, the brain, the information that they're giving you. They're saturating you with it, so you can't focus on one area. There's simply just too much, and if there's too much, we can't drill it down. We can't say, well, that actually makes no sense. Well, those numbers don't add up. Well, that was not by the book. And it all just gets watered down and then passed through. And we're seeing this with the Education and Wellbeing Bill that's going through the House of Lords at the minute. And there's so many distractions to take our mind's eye off what will soon be the headlines. You know, when this bill gets passed, which it will, there will be uproar. But the moment for uproar is now. But nobody's able to see it because they're being so distracted by these headlines that the Labour Party are churning out to make sure that you don't see it. You know, and I mean, it's a tactic used by every political party. It's not just the Labour Party. But I think we're seeing it in its highly intensified form at the minute, which is just spew out these facts and figures from our propaganda machine. People will be so busy digesting them, they won't see what's going on in the back room. I mean, we do see what's going on in the back room, but where does that get us? Anyway, please like, subscribe and share. I always forget that bit. It should be at the beginning, but you know, whatever. It's cold. The brain's definitely not firing today. I'll come back with the Nigel Farage video because I do think that is really interesting. As a concept, we need to sort of step away a bit from the racism part of it, but look at it as a concept, and it gets the juices going. But on that note, before I do any of this, I need to go and work out do you ever put your washing out when it's wet and it's a freezing cold day? Because I know it's stupid, but actually it does dry a little bit. And the child in me still likes getting his shirt off the line like it's cardboard. I know, it's ridiculous, but I do. I quite like it. It's pointless. It's a waste of time. But you know what? Sometimes in life, pointless things are fun.